Hello again, everyone. Edwin Learnard back once again in this YouTube NFL prediction segment. I'm going to be giving you my picks and analysis for Week 3 of the 2023 NFL season. Now, the first game that's up Thursday night game is going to be the New York Giants at the San Francisco 49ers. I'm going to take the 49ers to win this one at home. The Giants look like they're going to be without running back Saquon Barkley. I doubt very much that he'll be back in this game. He's out with some injury, and even though the coach of the Giants stated his status was uncertain for the game, I don't think he's going to come back too quickly. This is going to be, when you have a short week, generally it does favor the home team. The 49ers have looked dominant so far, and the Giants, a little bit unpredictable. It's early yet. It's really hard to gauge these teams. The Giants, first game they were obliterated by Dallas. The second game they played, they just barely got, by and pulled it out at the end. And I just don't think they really have the personnel, the horses to get this done. So I'm going to take the 49ers at home. Now the next game, I'm going to take the Titans reluctantly over Cleveland. It's going to be at Cleveland. Cleveland is going to be without running back Nick Chubb. I think that makes it advantageous for the Titans. The Titans are one of those enigmatic teams. You don't really know who's going to show up, really one week to the next to me. I mean, don't get me wrong, the Titans generally tend to play better than what people anticipate. But, sometimes, I'll see the Titans and there'll be some of these games where, it looks like on paper they should win and they don't win, but then they play a team that may appear superior on paper and they wind up beating them. But in this particular game, I do like the Titans to get this one done over the Cleveland Browns. The quarterback for Cleveland, Deshaun Watson, not really sure what to expect from him. The Browns, they had what I thought was a winnable game last week against Pittsburgh, but they didn't get it done. And I'm thinking, without the services of Nick Chubb, it's definitely advantage to the Titans. So I'll take the Titans to get this one done on the road. Now the next game, I'm going to take the Detroit Lions at home over the Atlanta Falcons. Detroit, there was a little bit of a surprise last week. I think it was Seattle beating them. Detroit, they're a team where a number of people, I picked them to actually win the NFC North. I think it's even though it's just week 3, it could be a critical week for them because they could swing either 2-1 or 1-2 depending on whether they win or lose. Um, the Atlanta Falcons, they're guess we're going to see, something with them in this particular game. If they're able to go into Detroit and pick up a victory, it could be an impressive win. That being said, Detroit, they're like 9, going back to last season, they're like 9-3 in their last 12. They will be at home in this game. I'm thinking last week was mainly an aberration to Seattle. I think they get back on track and get the win, so I'll take Detroit at home. Now the next game, New Orleans at Green Bay. Well, it seems like the Saints. There's some people, analysts out there that seem to be really high on the Saints. It's very early yet. This is just 2 games into the season. They won. Yes, they are 2-0, but the 2 wins, were very close games. They beat the Titans by 1 point, and they just barely squeaked by Carolina. This past Monday. So, and Green Bay's going to be at home. Jordan Love, I expect him to have a very good game in this one. I believe that Green Bay will get this done at home. So I'm going to take the Packers at home. Now the next game, we're going to have the Denver Broncos are going to be at Miami. Broncos right now, I mean, they just look like they're in a little bit disarray. I don't know what's really going on with them. What's going to, the future's going to hold for Russell Wilson with the team. The team needs to get back on track soon. I mean, they got the new coach with Sean Payton. There's a lot of people that thought that would revitalize and rejuvenate the team. We're going to see if it actually does at some point this season. It is early yet. Miami being at home, Miami has looked, very tough to beat with Tua under center. I think in this particular game, being at Miami, Denver's got to, do some traveling. Of course, going to Miami on the road, and the fact that Denver has been struggling since last season, I don't think it bodes well for them. I don't know if the defense is going to be able to counter the receivers with Miami with Tyreek Hill and Waddle. I think this particular game they're just outmatched, so I'm going to take the Miami Dolphins to win this one at home. Now the next game, we got the Chargers at Minnesota Vikings, and this is one of those ones which is really like a toss up to me. I would say you got the Chargers. Right now, they're coming off two losses to start the season, which could have gone either way. They just seem like they have difficulty finishing games. Minnesota also 0-2. We're going to see, which team gets off the schneid, so to speak, this week, unless there's a tie and, both teams remain winless. I don't think that's going to happen. Just Minnesota, on virtue of being at home, I believe they'll get this done. I think that they still have very good offense. You have Kirk Cousins there at quarterback, who really is actually a very good quarterback for the, but I do believe Minnesota should get this one done at home. I mean, this is the reigning NFC North champions. Yes, they lost Dalvin Cook. They may not be quite as good as they were last season, but I think they're good enough to defeat a Charger team that obviously has had difficulty in finishing games. So I'll take the Vikings at home. Well, now the next game. New England at New York Jets. I'm going to take the Jets to win this one at home and finally break that streak that New England has on them. I don't know if it's like 12 consecutive games or something that New England has beaten the Jets. That streak's got to come to an end at some point. I think the Jets can capitalize on the fact that New England just is not as good as they had been in recent years. They got they've gone down ever since Tom Brady has left the team. The Jets last season, the main reason they lost to New England at New Jersey is because that they did not have, they just did not have the offense to keep up. And even though we got Zach Wilson at quarterback under center, their weapons on offense is going to be better this time around. I think it's going to be enough. And you have the defense of the Jets. It didn't really show up last week against the Dallas Cowboys, but I think this week it does, and it's enough to get the job done. So I'm going to take the Jets at home in this one. Now the next game, I'm going to take the Buffalo Bills to win on the road against the Washington Commanders. I'm going to see, this particular game, Buffalo, they lost their first game. Second game, they came back with a vengeance. They played very well. This is the defending AFC East, champions. They're good enough to go into Washington to get this done, against the Washington Commanders, who have really maybe overachieved and have superseded expectations at this point. Well, that being said, we'll find out what Washington's about in this particular game, because this is definitely a very big challenge going against one of the upper echelon teams in the NFL in the Buffalo Bills. But I don't think they can. I don't think from a personal standpoint they could get this done. I think Buffalo's still the superior team. I'm going to take the Bills on the road. So next game, Houston is going to be at Jacksonville. Jacksonville, I'm going to pick this one, which 90% at least of America probably would be picking the Jaguars as well. Right now, Houston basically, they're in reclamation, rebuilding mode. You got the Jacksonville Jaguars, who, they're 1-1 right now. They had won their first game. Second game, didn't look great against the Chiefs, but they were competitive in it. They were very close with the Kansas City Chiefs, but they just couldn't quite pull it out. Jacksonville is, to me, likely a playoff team. They should be good enough to win this game against the Houston Texans, so I will take them to win this one at home. Now the next game. Well, the next game, Indianapolis Colts at Baltimore Ravens. We're going to see the Ravens and see if they got that ravenous defense going on, if they could get this done. I think the Ravens right now, 2-0 against, the Colts right now. They showed some life last week. They played much better. I think that second, or I should say they played, very good, very well last week, but they got to go against Baltimore this week, a team that, some people have actually picked to win the AFC North this season. They may very well do that with Cincinnati struggling, and Joe Burrow, obviously, he's not, got an injury right now. It looks like he's having a hard time working through it. So right now, I think it's safe to say that Baltimore will pull this one out. So I'm going to take the Ravens to win this one at home. Now the next game, I'm going to take the Seattle Seahawks at home against the Carolina Panthers. The Panthers right now, they have not really looked, that great to say the least. They played a tough game this past Sunday. They're going to be on the road going against Seattle Seahawks, a team that really, may contend with the 49ers to win that NFC West division. I think when you have, the offense of Seattle, I don't think Carolina, has enough weapons, has the offense to keep up with Seattle scoring. So I like Seattle to get this one done at home. Now the next game, I'm going to take the Kansas City Chiefs at home over the Chicago Bears. Chicago Bears right now, they do not really seem like, a team right now. It's not one of those teams really to be reckoned with at this point in time. You got the Kansas City Chiefs who, may be actually the favorite to come out of the AFC again this season. They're going to be at home. I think there's just going to be too much offense with the Chiefs between, Travis Kelce, Patrick Mahomes, and it's just going to be too much for Chicago to have to actually deal with. And the Chiefs' defense is not that bad either. They held Jacksonville to like 9 points last week, and that was at Jacksonville. So they should be able to hold the Bears to like 14, even if it's 17 points. The Chiefs are going to should be able to score more than 17 and win this game. So to me, this is a fairly easy pick. So I'm going to take the Chiefs to win at home. Now the next game, I'm going to take the Dallas Cowboys to win on the road against the Arizona Cardinals. And the Arizona Cardinals right now, I don't know really what's going on with them and what they really are, their team identity, what they're really about even. It's a team right now that seems like it's starting to plummet. They look like they're on the decline. Dallas right now, Dallas Cowboys, you talk about a team to be reckoned with. They're a team right now that looks like one of the better teams in the league. It's very early this season. I understand, Super Bowls, NFC titles. They're not won in the regular season. They're won later on in the postseason. So Dallas is still, teams that, there's still a lot of football left, and we know a lot of things could happen. But right now, Dallas and the 49ers have looked like about the two best teams right now in the league, even though we've only had a very small sampling of games right now, just 2 weeks of NFL action. But Dallas right now, between their offense and defense, they're very well balanced, and I think just with that defense of Dallas, I don't think Arizona is going to be able to counter that. I think the defense of Dallas is going to be better than the offense of Arizona, and that's going to be very key in deciding this game. And I like Dallas to get this one done on the road. So now the next game, we got the Steelers at the Las Vegas Raiders. This one's pretty much one of those 50-50 toss-up games, but I'm going to take Las Vegas Raiders to get this one done at home. Now Pittsburgh defense is pretty much what got them, helped get them the win really strongly last week against Cleveland. T.J. Watt made a tremendous play on defense. He's arguably, the best defensive player in the league. I think between T.J. Watt, Aaron Donald, those are two of the big, dominant defensive players right there. You got the Las Vegas Raiders. I mean, this is a team, I think the jury's still out on them with Jimmy Garoppolo at quarterback, or can they actually, what's going to be happening with them? Are they a team that can challenge Kansas City at some point for the division title? I mean, I believe they lost last week, and then you had, the first game they played, they just barely got by Denver. But at the same time, they are at home. Both teams are 1-1, I believe. So you have to, basically what I'm looking at is I'm taking Las Vegas on virtue of the home field advantage. So I'm going to take the Las Vegas Raiders to get this one done at home. Now the next game, Monday night game, Philadelphia Eagles at Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Well, this makes it a compelling matchup because, I mean, you have two 2-0 teams. You have, the Eagles are the defending NFC champions. They haven't really looked overly, dominant right now. They beat, they just barely got by in week 1 against New England, but they are getting the wins. Tampa Bay, we're going to see what's going on with them. Baker Mayfield, the quarterback for Tampa Bay, has looked better than a lot of people may have anticipated. You have, on this team, you have very good receivers on Tampa Bay. You have a team right now that right at this game can be a barometer game for Tampa Bay to see where they're at in the league. If even in a loss, if they make this game competitive with the Eagles, Tampa Bay could be a team that may be for real and may be able to at least challenge for the NFC South title. So a lot of it is going to be looked at in this game in terms of where Tampa Bay is right now. Even though it's still very early, I understand it's just week 3. That being said, it's hard for me to go against Philadelphia Eagles and being the NFC defending NFC champions. So I'm going to still ride with them and take this team to get, I would say, a close competitive win on the road. Now, last but not least, there's one more game, Monday night game. We're going to have the LA Rams at the Cincinnati Bengals. Right now, I was talking about before with Joe Burrow, likely going to be out in this game. It's going to be at Cincinnati. Reluctantly, I'm going to take the Rams to get this one done on the road, but nothing would really shock me. I mean, the only thing really that predictable about sports in general is that it could be unpredictable, but it's really, right now, if they're going to be putting in their second stringer in this game, and the fact that the Bengals are 0-2, and that has been with Burrow under center. I don't know if they could get this done against the Rams. The positive with Cincinnati, they have some incentive in this game because you can look at it like they're seeking a retribution against the Rams for beating them in that Super Bowl a couple seasons ago. But that being said, I really don't think that's going to really make that much difference in terms of the final outcome in this game. I think right now the Rams are a little bit better than a lot of people have anticipated, even though they're just 1-1. They played the 49ers close last week, and they won their first game, I believe it was against Seattle, in an upset. So this is a team that has the ability, I would say, to go against the Bengals, and even though it's a road game, and be able to beat them. So I'm going to take the Rams to get this one done on the road against the Cincinnati Bengals. Anyway, people, that'll conclude this YouTube NFL prediction segment. And until next time, Edwin Learnard saying, stay well.